Today we continue with our class Shabbos Kitchen. Today's class number 20. And we start with Sefer Chofetz Chaim. Big topic is the same, many forms of gossip. And today's topic, for the sake of peace. There is a situation when refusal to answer a question would itself be a transgression of the prohibition against speaking the hills. Right? When you refuse, that's interesting, right? When, for example, one is asking whether or not a certain individual was guilty party in a certain incident, remaining silent is no less revealing that an explicit yes. Here, Melacha requires one to conceal the fact by simply saying no. So it's very interesting, right? So somebody knows that you are a witness to the damage of his property, let's say, right? And if he's asking you, did this person do it? So I mean, if you remain silent, it's obvious that that's what you're trying to cover for that person. So you must say no. The obvious question is, why lying preferable to speak in the hills when both prohibited by the Torah? Right? It says in Torah, it says, stay away from lies. So why? So the question is, Chofetz Chaim is asking, why are you choosing one over the other? To answer this, we must gain better understanding of commandment, distance yourself from falsehood. Okay, Shmos 23:7. So okay, so I said that distance yourself from lies. They translate from falsehood. Okay, let's go with falsehood. The Talmud Shavuos 31a notes that rather than command us, do not lie, the Torah instructs us to distance ourselves from falsehood completely, right? Do not come close. In determining whether or not a given statement is a falsehood, one must examine its end result more than its technical accuracy. Okay, a little white lie, for example, which is technically correct but intentionally misleading, is a falsehood. Right? That's for sure. All right. So let's continue. It's very interesting. Maharal explains that the Torah views a personal animosity as a form of the falsehood. This attitude is clearly expressed by the sage's classic term for animosity, sinas chinam, baseless hatred. Right? Because why? Because we have to look at so they say, how can you choose one over the other? You have to look at the end result, what it's going to lead to. Okay. So continuation. Does the statement of Rehilus, which could be caused for sinas chinam, meaning baseless hatred, is a potential cause for over falsehood, and concealing or altering the fact to avoid Rehilus is an advancement of the cause of the truth. So I mean that's the thing, to stop the baseless hatred. Right? In the sages' words, one may alter the facts for the sake of peace. Okay. See Rashi to Bereshis 50:16. I guess that's about Sarah. When she said, "I did not love," I think it must be noted, however, that under no circumstances one may swear falsely, even for the sake of peace. Okay, to say no for the sake of peace and to change the facts a little, yes, but to swear, that's too much. Okay, so let's stop here. So we continue with a new chapter, new topic. Topic very interesting, creating a new entity, Molid. Okay. Now, part number 1, introduction. The Gemara in Shabbos 51b states that there is a rabbinic prohibition to crush snow and ice on Shabbos in order to produce water. Okay. Various explanations are given to this decree. Rashi explains that by crushing the ice and snow, one that they bar creating water, a new entity, and this bears a symbol to Melacha. So basically, water did not exist before, right? I mean, maybe it did, but we didn't see it, right? We just saw the ice or we saw the snow. Now you crush in the ice or snow, right? So it would melt faster. So now you're creating water. So one more time, it's rabbinic, but it resembles Melacha. This prohibition is known as Molid, creating a new entity. Okay. 1 second. Okay. So part number 2, prohibition. So there are many examples of this. We're going to see. The prohibition, creating new entity Molid. According to some authorities, the prohibition of Molid applies only when the entity is brought into existence manually. There is directly by one's hand. It is therefore forbidden to crush ice or frozen liquids, because by doing so, one creates new entity, liquid. This prohibition applies to other methods of dissolving an item, such as pouring hot water over it, shaking it, or rubbing it. So basically, in other words, what they're trying to imply, if you just leave it alone and it's going to melt by itself, maybe it's not a problem. Okay, we'll see. So according to this authority, only when you're actively doing something. Okay, B, causing the creation of new entity. Nolad, when you do something. Some authorities hold that it is also prohibited to cause the creation of new entity, even if it is not manually created. Thus, one may not place frozen liquids near the flame or in or other hot areas, because this directly causes them to melt, and then result the creation of new entity, right? So basically, but if you put it under normal temperature, room temperature, it's not you're not doing anything actively. But next to the hot place, right, to the stove, to the blech, to the radiator even, right, that would be forbidden. Even though the individual is not normally manually causing the liquid to melt, when he places them in a hot area, he will directly cause them to melt, and therefore it is forbidden. So that's one of the things they have to remember. So, for example, you want to take you want to serve cold chicken, right, on Shabbos. You want to serve, but you don't want to be like cold from the refrigerator. You want it to be like room temperature. So of course it has some gravies, this and that. So okay, you can take out. Of course, this gravy is going to melt. Of course, I mean, maybe partially melt, but in a room temperature. But still, you did not do anything like manually. According to this view, it is also prohibited to place liquid in a freezer, right? Why? Because you're going to make ice, right? And this directly causes them to freeze and assume the new solid form. Okay, so they say, okay, see page 232. Okay, we're going to get regarding making ice cubes. That's a different story. So ice, water is a little different compared to others. Okay, so continue. C, the accepted ruling. We abide by the stringent view. Therefore, one should not defrost liquids in a warm area, for example, near a flame. However, if an object was placed in a warm area, one may use the item. So after the fact, no problem. For example, one should not defrost frozen liquid near an oven. However, if it was already done, the melted liquid may be used. So as usual, we're trying to go by more stringent view, but after the fact, so we can abide by a more lenient view. Right? If it was not done for whatever reason, So, okay, we can use it. Furthermore, if one's enjoyment of Shabbos will be ruined by not having this item defrosted, or if the purpose of defrosting is for a child or for a guest, one may initially rely on the first view, which holds that the prohibition applies only when done manually. This would not be problem of bishul, cooking, in the area, if the area is not hot enough to bring the food to the level of Yatzel Bo. See chapter 2, the definition of Yatzel Bo. Okay, so let's try to understand the few concepts that we need to explain. Okay, so we said initially if you take something like frozen, semi-frozen, like from refrigerator. Okay, so they say first, don't put it next to the source of heat. Where can you put it away from the source of heat? But if you need it faster, right? Defrost because it's going to ruin your enjoyment of Shabbos. Okay, or you have guests and you will feel embarrassed. You are planning to take it out 2 hours before they come, but you forgot this and that. No problem for a child, for elderly person, for sick person. I guess also, right? So in this case, we rely on opinion, on the first opinion that if you don't do it manually, where is manual? Like manual, like crashing something, like turning side to side or something. That would be manual. But if you just put it and left it there, so it's not exactly manual. So in the case of need, we can go by use that opinion. Okay. And the last thing we said, okay, even if we sometimes in the case of need we're allowed to go by the first opinion and put it this food next to the source of heat, not too far. So it cannot be source that can make it cook. And cook, we said, what is cook? Cooking is only when the food reaches, or I would say not food, even container, not the food, since it's clearly shown. So if it's clearly shown, this is the temperature Yatzel Bo. So Yatzel Bo, we said when the hand recoils, right? So cook, absolutely not. Okay. So summary. Though some authorities hold that Molid is performed only when manually bring new entity into existence, we abide by the stringent view, which hold that the causing new entity to come to existence is also included in the Molid. Causing, right? Cause meaning when we put next to the source of heat, even if not done manually. Therefore, one should not defrost liquids near the warm area, unless one's enjoyment of Shabbos will be ruined by not having the item defrost. If the item is needed for a guest or a child, defrosting it in this manner would also be permitted. So I mean, I always feel bad for these people. The whole Shabbos would be spoiled because of one dish. It's not exactly perfect state as they like. It's very, very sad situation, I think, for them. Okay. Okay, so continue. Part number 3. Circumstances in which Molid and Nolad are permitted. Okay. So Nolad, we said it's causing. Okay. So A, crushing in a liquid. Okay. As mentioned above, crushing or otherwise dissolving a frozen item to turn it into liquid manually is forbidden. Okay, we said that. Some poskim permit crushing the frozen item if the crushing is done while the frozen item is submerged in a liquid. So here's a little twist. If it is submerged in a liquid, if it is, it is for this reason that some poskim permit stirring sugar that was added to a drink, although one manually dissolved the sugar, Very interesting. So let's try to understand. Let's finish on the next one. Though some authorities disagree with this ruling, in case of need, for example, if the food is needed for a child, a guest, or to enhance Onek Shabbos, so Onek is enjoyment of Shabbos, one may crush the item while it is immersed in the liquid. So it's very interesting. So let's read it again, and we're going to explain line by line. Very interesting. As mentioned above, crushing or otherwise dissolving the frozen item into liquid mainly is forbidden. So here we spoke about the snow, right, or ice, right? So you try to crush it, so it would melt faster. So this is forbidden. So they would allow some. I'm not sure the same one or different ones. So some allow when this item, right, is submerged in a liquid. So what would it be like? Maybe like ice in water, right? So there is no problem. So ice cubes, right, and water, it's the same thing technically. So maybe it's even more lenient. Okay, so it says, continue. It is for this reason that some poskim permits stirring sugar that was added to a drink, although one is manually dissolving the sugar. So it's a very interesting point. I mean, who has ever thought about it, right? When the sugar is also sugar and coffee, right? When you stir it, you dissolve it. Even though I think if it's hot water, let's say, right, you're making this over coffee, and it's hot water, I think it's going to dissolve by itself also. If it stays for I don't know how much time, maybe a few minutes, it's going to dissolve by itself. But of course, if you stir it, it's going to be dissolved faster. That's for sure. Okay. Though some authorities disagree with this ruling, in case of the meaning that you can stir, and stir, I mean dissolve in the liquid. In the case of the meat, the food is needed for a child, a guest, or to enhance on a Shabbos. One may crush the item while it is immersed in the liquid. So in some cases, they say, okay. Second. Let's see what this. Okay. So continue. It was A, B, dissolving ice in a liquid. Okay, here we go. So ice is a like separate category. One is permitted to place frozen liquid into hot water. Frozen liquid is ice, right? Into hot water, even though the hot water will dissolve the liquid. There are two reasons for this. First, that the frozen liquid is not being melted by an act of crushing. Okay, so we started with crushing, so it's not. It is not considered causing a new entity to come into existence. Okay, since it is being dissolved in a liquid, and will therefore not be recognized as a new entity. So, okay, so first point, there is no crushing. And second point, it's very interesting. So, I mean, if water is dissolved in this liquid, whether it's water or some juice or whatever, coffee, whatever, the coffee is too hot, and they want to drink right now, so they can add some ice. No problem. Okay. So why? Because you don't actually see the new entity. So this new entity becomes is combined now with old entity, which is coffee, whatever was it there. It is for this reason that one may place partially defrosted liquid next to a warm area, so that it can become completely defrosted. Okay. since it is melting into the liquid that is already there. And defrosted liquid is not recognizable as a new entity. So here is another leniency that we can for sure follow, right? So if it was partially defrosted, so you can put next to the warm area. Why? Because you don't see the new entity. I mean, the new entity, new meaning the liquid part of it, it increases for sure, right? Whatever was frozen is now in a liquid form. The liquid part is increases, but it's still something that exists before. Just okay, it just become more of the same. That's the thing. Very interesting. Okay. Summary. Our summary, and after that we're going to go to the practical applications. And we'll see. Summary. In case of need, one may crush the frozen item while it is submerged in a liquid. Okay. One example is we can stir our sugar in our coffee. One is permitted to place frozen liquid into hot area, even though the hot once we play frozen liquids into hot water. I apologize, into hot water. Right? Even though the hot water will dissolve the liquid. Okay. So continue. One may also place partially defrosted liquid next to the warm area so that it can become completely defrosted. So only completely frozen things we should not put next to the hot area, right? But partially there is no problem. Okay, so let's see the part number 4, practical applications. Dissolving frozen liquids. Liquids may be defrosted at room temperature, but should not be placed in a hot area. Okay. For example, near an oven to dissolve. If the liquid was placed next to a hot area, one may benefit from them. If the liquid is already partially melted, it may be placed in a hot area to dissolve completely. In cases of necessity, the liquid may be initially placed in a hot area to be dissolved. Crushing or shaking them, however, is forbidden, even in cases of necessity, unless immersed in the liquid. So it's a lot of information. Okay, let's read it again and we're going to explain. Liquids may be defrosted in room temperature. So as we said, that's according to all of the opinions, but should not be placed in a hot area. For example, near oven or stove or radiator to dissolve. Okay, so that's according to all of the opinions, right? If a liquid was placed near the hot area, one may benefit from them. So after the fact. So once again, we try not to do that unless there is a big need, but after the fact we can do it. So some foods, like if it transgresses a Melacha, so some foods are not allowed to eat. Some of them never. Some of them after Shabbos, after some time pass. So, but in this case, you're allowed to eat them right away. If the liquid is already partially melted, it may be placed in a hot area to dissolve completely, as we said. Because why? Because it's already a new entity. The liquid is there. It's just going to be more liquid. Continue. In case of necessity, the liquid may be initially placed in a hot area to be dissolved. And what necessity? We said maybe for a guest, maybe for a small child, for elderly, for a sick person, for the enjoyment of Shabbos. All these things are considered to be cases of necessity. Crushing or shaking item, however, is forbidden. So because why? That's how we started, because you're doing it manually. Right, even in case of necessity, unless immersed in a liquid. So in a liquid, so we have opinion that we can rely on, that if it's submerged in a liquid, we can crush in there. Okay. So, okay, B, whipped cream. According to some poskim, it is prohibited to discharge the whipped cream from the pressurized can, since it is tantamount to manually transform the liquid cream while it is in a can in a solid cream. So that's, I'm not sure why he's saying according to some. I think most of the poskim say that, the way I understand. So basically, you have this whipped cream, right, that people eat with the strawberry, other things, right? But inside of the can, it's actually liquid. But through the pressure, right, when you press the thing, so it's comes out as a solid, and that's the problem, right? So you transform from liquid to solid, so it's not allowed. Continue. C. Put in hot water on congealed gravy. It is forbidden to put hot water over the dishes that contain hardened grease, because doing so dissolve the grease, creating new entity. Nevertheless, one may cause the grease to be dissolved by immersing the dishes into hot water. Okay, so we're going to see chapter 22 for details. For full details, washing and soaking dishes. However, one must refrain from rubbing the grease to dissolve it manually. Okay, so the problem is, for example, you finish it and you have some grease, some fat from meat or even from fish, and that froze, not froze, that congeal on your plate, right? So there's a problem. You cannot put it now into under the hot water. But where will we get the? Let's say it is possible for people to get the hot water. For example, they disconnected the tank, and there is a hot water. Let's say, right? So that it was warm before Shabbos and it's disconnected. Okay, let's say you can use it. So it's not allowed for us to open the hot water tap. Why? Because the fat is going to get dissolved. So, but what is allowed? What is allowed if you have they call it the dish pan, I think, right? So it's we have like a square plastic. It's like, I don't know, this high, maybe, I don't know, like 5 inches, 6 inches high, and you just pour water in there, right? Warm water, hot water, whatever you want. You cover before Shabbos, and then you can put there all of the dishes, and then so they're going to stay in the water on Shabbos, and they would be very easy to clean, very easy to clean, especially for people who need to use these dishes for the next day. So it's a perfect solution. So in this case, you're not putting water on top of the plate, right? On the plate, so you put the plate into this dish pan. It works perfectly. So continue. Placing meat. So that's what people doing for many years. Oh, forever. I don't know how many years people were doing for. I guess for hundreds of years. It's not a modern invention. D. Placing meat or chicken with a congealed gravy in a warm area. Okay, it is forbidden to place meat or chicken with a congealed gravy in a warm area in order to warm up the meat or chicken, since this will cause the gravy to melt. If, however, some of the gravy already melted, it is permitted to place meat or chicken in a warm area, since the gravy will melt into already liquefied gravy. So as we said before, so I think I'm not sure if it's a good idea to eat cold meat. I think it would be too heavy for a stomach, but cold chicken, there is no problem, especially in the summer. It's hot as it is, right? People usually eat a little less in the summer. So you just take chicken out of refrigerator. So of course it's not melted. I mean, there is no melted gravy. So unless you put it on somewhere on a counter, some will defrost it. So if you see the clear liquid, so you can put it next to the chat. Otherwise, just leave it on a countertop and don't. Some people call me like, I don't know, 15 minutes before Shabbos and ask this question. I say, how do I know? How do you prepare all of these things? You have to practice, like test it on Sunday, on Monday, on Tuesday. You have all of these days. Why you only 15 minutes before candle lighting? It's not 15 minutes. 15 minutes before I leave my house. Let's put it this way. Right? So now you're trying to figure out what to do. It's a little late because we don't know how long it's going to take this gravy to melt. I don't know. So just allow yourself maybe half an hour extra. Take it out of the refrigerator 3 hours before the meal and 2 hours before the meal. Whatever is need to be done, just do it. Okay. So basically, we have to, when we come into Shabbos, we have to get prepared. So don't leave anything like on the last second. E. Making instant coffee, tea, or other powdered drinks on Shabbos. Okay, so here we saw like tea, meaning like an iced tea, right? But Lipton or others, so you can do iced tea or you can do it with hot water. That doesn't make any difference. Okay, instant coffee, other powdered drinks. Okay, some lemonades, whatever they do. Okay, some authorities have raised the question regarding pouring hot water on instant coffee, tea, or cocoa, because the act of the pouring caused the coffee, tea, or cocoa to melt. As mentioned above, in pages 2 to 6, okay, this is including prohibition of Nolad. However, most poskim do not consider the actual Molid, and one may rely on those authorities. See chapter 3 and 15 concerning cooking and coloring when preparing coffee. Right. So cooking, we said there is no problem, and we had these discussions. I remember Israel asked this question. Right? Why cooking is not a problem? Because all of this. Instant coffee, it's all cooked. They cooked, they evaporate all of the liquids, make these granules and dry it, freeze it, whatever they do with this, and that's how they prepare this instant coffee. Right, so there is no cooking after cooking, as we said, and it's considered to be solid. Right. Same with this iced tea and same with this cocoa. It's all cooked. Okay, unless you know that this cocoa is not cooked, right? That there is I don't remember what was it, like raw cocoa or something like that. So you have to. Usually they sell it for making cakes, right? So you have to prepare it. It's not such a straightforward thing. I don't know why it's tastier, cheaper. I'm not sure why. Okay, that's a different story. So basically, I mean, we can rely on opinion, so you can do it, no problem. And they say a problem might be with coloring when preparing coffee. Right? That's coloring. Coloring, I think we do in a different sequence. So first, I think we put water and then we add colors or dye. I'm not sure. So that's could be the issue, but since we said before, there is no coloring issue with the food, right? Unless you meant coloring, so there is no problem. So meaning what? If I want this coffee look this color because I like the color, I'm not going to drink the coffee, just the color, so that's the problem. You're not allowed to do that. But if I don't care what color is it, I just want the coffee, so it's no coloring is involved. We're talking about food only. With other things, it's going to be a problem, of course. Next one, F. Syrup and sugar in a drink. Although we have mentioned above, 2 to 9, so before, that initially one may not manually dissolve the item, even when it is submerged in a liquid, syrup and sugar in the drink is permitted. So be good. Freezing liquids. It is forbidden to place liquids in a freezer, since this can cause liquid to become a solid, and in case of the need for a child or a guest, or to enhance on a Shabbos, however, one may freeze liquids. Otherwise, one may freeze liquids so that the food does not lose some of its taste. Okay. So let's read it again and we try to explain. Because some people actually do freeze. And I saw it, and I'm going to tell you how they did it. Freezing liquids. It is forbidden to place liquids in the freezer, since this causes the liquid to become solid. So the example would be, for example, they ate soup, they finished with the soup, and they say, okay, let's leave the soup until next Shabbos. I'm going to eat it. So they try to put it in a smaller container, like with airtight lid, right? And they want to put it in the freezer. So it would be a problem, because soup is going to freeze. It's going to freeze, right? So, okay, in case of need, continue, for a child or a guest, or to enhance on a Shabbos, however, one may freeze liquid. So maybe you need ice because it's too hot, and you need that would be for enjoyment, right? Likewise, one may freeze liquids so that the food does not lose some of its taste. I'm not sure what would be the example. If you put it in the refrigerator, it's not going to lose its taste neither. I'm not sure. Okay. H, next one, ice cubes and or frozen ices. According to some authorities, one should not make ice cubes except in case of necessity. Okay, for example, if there is no cold drinks, okay, and it's summer, it's very hot. Some poskim rule that it is permitted to make ice cubes even in the absence of a particular necessity. Freezing the ice pops, however, is permitted only if for one's enjoyment will be ruined if not having them, or if it is for children. So all these things, I mean, as I said before many times, you can prepare them before Shabbos. Like, I don't know, on Thursday, if you have Thursday night, you can check if you have enough ice in your freezer. I have a reminder on your phone. I have many reminders on my phone. Otherwise, I would forget many things, right? So I have all of these reminders. And then you go, okay, do I need more ice? Do I need more food? Do I need more this or that? Maybe I need to open more food containers, right? Before Shabbos. So put yourself reminders. You don't need to make all of these ice. But as I say, in case of necessity, you can make ice. But the way they started, according to some authorities, one should not make the cubes, except in case of necessity. Guess what? Maybe they are right, and you're not allowed, period, to make. So don't put yourself in a dangerous situation, right? For example, if no cold drinks, so you can put things in the refrigerator. Though they're going to chill. Some poskim rule that it is permitted to make ice cubes even in the absence of particular necessity. Yes, I mean, in case of the need, it's better not to rely on it, but in case of the need, for sure you can rely on that opinion. I'm not sure who is saying that, but okay. Freezing the ice pops, however, is permitted only for enjoyment. Okay, continue. Making juice from the concentrate. That's a big one, right? So you have this concentrate, a little tablet, right? You put and you make a lot of juice. One may make juice from concentrate by defrosting the contents of a can at the room temperature, not in a hot area, for sure. Once partially melted, it may be moved to the hot area to dissolve completely. I'm not sure how long it's going to take, because usually, maybe it's when it's hot, it's easier, because they're really frozen. Okay, so but we use exactly the same methods as with everything else. So if it start melting, so it's already some liquid, so you can move it to a hotter area. Otherwise, I mean, it's never going to. It will, but defrost, but it would take a very long time. or I guess if you need it for Shabbos morning, just take them out Saturday night. That's it. Okay, so actually we finished. No, that's the next page. Alternatively, one may immerse the concentrate in water and place it near the oven to dissolve. So as I think it's an even better solution. To put it in the water, room temperature water, there is no problem whatsoever. Okay. Or even cold, no, cold water, no, but room temperature water. However, one should not crush the concentrate or stir the mixture until it is completely dissolved. In case of necessity, one may stir the mixture or crush the concentrate while they submerge in the water. So as we said, so they trying to employ all of these ways that we learn about. So the perfect way is to leave it and let it dissolve by itself. It's not, but it's not such an easy thing, I guess, after being in a freezer for a long time. So it's not such an easy thing just to melt under the room temperature, right? So, but okay, they say you're allowed to put it in the water, move it next to the stove, not next to that source of heat, and in case of necessity, you can stir it in. Okay. Next one, J, freezing and defrosting dry foods. Okay, it is permitted to freeze and defrost dry foods since they retain their solid form, whether frozen or thawed. So meaning that doesn't matter. Like, maybe there is some condensate like on top of the lid, but otherwise it's they do not change. For example, challah, chicken, kugel may be frozen or else defrosted near the oven when there is no question of cooking, right? So it's happy because there is no liquid, right? They're not going to change the form. If you need extra challah, yes, Baruch HaShem made the challah, so you need an extra. So one frozen, so you can put it next to the source of heat. Why? One more time, because there is no. Of course, if there is ice on top, you have to remove the ice. That's no question about it. But otherwise, it's solid food. If the dry food is coated with some ice, it is preferable to first remove the ice before defrosting the food into the hot area. I'm not sure why he's saying preferably. That's if you don't defrost it, for sure it's going to be water. Okay. However, maybe because it's a small amount, I'm not sure. That's my guess. However, foods that contain gravy are subject to the Molid and Nolad and should neither be frozen or defrosted in a hot area on Shabbos. So meaning what? In room temperature, no problem. Which, one more time, these foods that have gravy. So the problem is the gravy, not with the food. K, defrosting ice cream. The ice cream that, if the ice cream has defrosted, one is concerned that it will lose its flavor, one will put it back in the freezer. Very interesting. That's the example. Very interesting, right? Give us the example. I didn't have an example. So how it can lose the flavor? Ice cream, right? So you took out ice cream. You think you're going to eat now, but the guest did not come. So you want to put it back. It started to melt. You want to put it back to freeze it back. Okay. Right, to preserve the flavor. Very good example. Next one, L, melting fudge / chocolate. It is forbidden to place solid piece of chocolate on a hot food item if it will cause the chocolate to melt. Okay. For example, putting a piece of chocolate on a very hot piece of cake. Very hot piece of cake. Likewise, it is forbidden to place cold fudge on top of the hot crack pot in order that the fudge melt. Okay, but it's what is it? It's like source of heat, I guess. There are any others. I'm not sure how hot this chocolate, this cake must be to melt the chocolate. Chocolate, I don't know. I think it's very solid. It's not so easy. They actually have to put it. If they use chocolate for baking, they will have to melt it with sugar or whatever they use. So it takes some time. It's not so easy to melt the chocolate. I'm not sure. Continue. When serving a hot molten lava cake, it would be prohibited to add a scoop of ice cream on top, if this will cause the ice cream to melt. Okay. If one melted chocolate chip in the oven or pot before Shabbos, and so to serve with dessert, or to use as a fondue, he may mix the chocolate together only if the particles have melted. So basically, they're already melted. At least they started to melt. So now the rest is going to melt. Otherwise, when mixed with chocolate, the solid pieces will melt into the liquid mixture, which is violation of Molid. So only if some of them already melted, no problem. But if all of them not melted, there is a problem. This is aside from bishul, concern of so bishul is cooking, right? Concern if the chocolate is still very hot. I'm not sure how it can cook very hot. I'm not sure. Very hot, and it dips uncooked fruit into the chocolate. Okay, so this chocolate is very hot, so I'm not sure that it dips uncooked food into the chocolate. So it looks like it's so hot that chocolate is so hot it's going to cook the fruits. That's the issue. Okay. Next one is instant noodle soup. That's a problem. As discussed in chapter 3, instant noodle soup present a problem of bishul, right? Because the spices are cooking. Right? However, one may prepare them on Shabbos in case of necessity. For example, one in a hospital and does not have any other food to eat. Okay. Yet there is also an issue of Molid in regard to these noodle soups, since when put in hot water on the spices, the hot water dissolves the spices. That's another issue, right? Dissolve the spices. To avoid this problem, one should make sure that the spices are covered by noodles when put in the hot water. Basically that he's not putting on the spices itself, but on the water. So usually they give it like small pack on top, right? Small package of spices. So the way I understand you have to do it, take out the noodles, pour spices on the bottom of the cup, put noodles back, then add water. However, since the methods of how the soups are prepared may differ from country to country, or from one brand to another, one should consult halachic authorities for a final rule. So, of course, we have to understand that these noodles, they're cooked. Noodles do not cook in a few minutes, right? So, if you just put hot water and they prepare in the 2-3 minutes, whatever, you just keep it covered this cup, so for sure they were cooked before. It's not like you just cooked it. Okay. So the problem is what is the spices. So I think that the spices are raw. Maybe not. I think they are. Okay, so that's another. So I would say just eat without spices. Just add some salt, whatever you need separately, and let's say be happy. However, since the method of how this, okay, listen, continue. Bar soap for washing dishes. Bar soap. Aside from other prohibitions, using the bar soap involved the prohibition Molid. Liquid soap, some Molid, maybe because it was the way I understand it was solid, and now you make it like liquid. That's what I understand. Molid. A liquid soap, however, may be used. Okay. So the problem is, as we said before, with washing dishes, first problems, this gravy is going to be dissolved. That's the problem. And of course, you cannot use sponge. You can use soap, but you cannot use sponge. So how can you wash without sponge? I'm not sure if it's a good idea, but you have like some dishwashing like nets, right? Things. It's very inconvenient, but in case of the need, of course, that's what you have to do. Okay, so for that's what we do. We use these nets and this liquid. It's a big pain on what is it on Pesach, under 3 days in a row. So I mean we don't have so many dishes, of course, so you have to wash for sure. Like for a third day, at least for a morning meal, you have to wash like almost like a lot, basically. Okay. So let's see. See chapter 22 on washing and drying dishes for more details about the liquid soaps. Let me see how long is it. Okay, we can do one more topic. Okay, so one more topic, the chapter 14. It's called smoothing. Memoreach. Introduction. Memoreach, smoothing, is a talada of Melacha scraping. And is defined as a rubbing or smearing a thick glutinous substance in order to smooth out their surface. For example, a beeswax, tar, or animal fat. Rubbing or spraying these or similar substances in order to smooth them is forbidden by Torah law. Okay. So we actually learned this topic when we discussed Torah and Melachas, different books. So okay, so let's try to understand. So smoothing, they say, is talada. Talada is it's like a branch. If you imagine the tree, the trunk of the tree, there are branches, and from one branch there is always many smaller branches, right? So these smaller branches is taladas. So it's some Melacha. They're very similar to the original Melacha. Very similar. It's not exactly that, but very similar to it, and it's of course it's prohibited. So the Melacha is what? Is scraping. So scraping what? Scraping the hairs from the hides, right? That's how you make leather, right? You scrape the hairs, and the next step they smooth with all these oils, with all these things, right? I guess not oil, but some like some thick substances. I say beeswax, tar is very thick, of course, and animal fat. So animal fat is very thick. Rubbing or spraying this or similar substance in order to smooth them. So of course you want to like smooth the hides. It's forbidden by Torah law. So just to remind ourselves, we learn it in application to the creams. Right? You're not allowed to use a cream on Shabbos. That's where this Melacha comes about. Okay, but here we'll learn it only about the kitchen, about the food. Part number 2: smoothing items of food. The Baskim disagree as to whether or not the sages forbade smoothing food items. The Rama or Chaim 3:21:19 rules that it did not. Meaning what? Spread, right? Spread. Have a butter, margarine on top of the bread, whatever, right? So it would be forbidden according to some. He reasoned that since food can be eaten without being smooth, right? The smoothing does not bring about the beneficial change to the food. Therefore, it is permitted. So I mean, you spread, you do not spread, you can put it on top and you can eat it. For example, if we're talking about butter, so you cut a piece of butter, put it on top, no problem, you can eat it as good. By contrast, smoothing non-food items does not bring about the constructive result and is therefore forbidden. One more time, by contrast, smoothing non-food items does bring constructive result, right? Because the surface is going to be smoother, or even if you use on your skin, right? Your hands are going to smoother, right? That's the issue, and therefore it is forbidden. However, Rema concludes that in certain situations, one who acts stringently in this matter of smoothing of foods is blessed. So very interesting. So basically, Rema, that's all, right? So he said, even though there is no prohibition, but if you do it, you're going to be blessed, right? That's a good thing. I mean, it's not. I mean, I'm not sure like how often it comes up. If you prepare everything before Shabbos that you need to spread, I don't know. This stringency applies to food that is smooth for decorative purposes, such as icing on a cake. Since in this case, the smoothing is for authentic purposes, aesthetic purposes. So it's like if you put a butter on a piece of bread, okay, so it didn't reach all the corners of the bread, okay, I'm going to survive. But with a cake, if you don't smooth it like nicely, so it's not going to look nice, right? It does indeed create beneficial change in the food. Therefore, one should preferably refrain from smoothing foods with this goal in mind. So if you don't have this goal in mind, basically, that's where we can learn. So with about our butter, you can do it. But if you need exactly perfect surface, that's the issue. If, however, one spreads food in order to cover the large area with it, for example, spreading butter on bread, that's classic, right? Or you put anything on bread. You put tuna salad, egg salad, baba ganoush, all these spreads. And you put it on bread, there is no problem. But does not care whether the surface appears smooth. This stringency does not apply. Therefore, one is permitted to spread even thick food, for example, egg salad, tuna salad, into a slice of bread. So why they say again saying thick foods? Because they resemble what they were using for the heights, right? This beeswax and tar and others. So provided that one is not attempting to make the surface of the food appear smooth. I mean, he just wants to eat the two foods together. That's it. Food items that are not being used for eating purposes may not be smooth on Shabbos. For example, one may not plug a crack of leek with a chewing gum. Like a crack or leek with a chewing gum. Okay. Okay. Continue. Part number 3: are squeezing foods out of the tube. Right? Like you have ketchup, for example. One may squeeze food out of the tube on Shabbos. Although the food is smooth, when it emerges, through the small hole, it's smooth. When it emerges from the tube, he has not smoothed out a previously uneven surface. So it was even, more or less, it was even in the bottom. Okay. Continue. Using a scoop. One may use the scoop to dish out ice cream, tuna salad, egg salad, or the chopped liver, even though the food in a scoop assumes the smooth round shape. I mean, ice cream scoop or stuff like that, right? Ice cream round shape. This is because the smoothing effect is attained naturally from the shape of the spoon. I mean, you don't do anything like specifically. and not done by the specific intention of smoothing the food. Exactly. If, however, one's intention in using a scoop instead of the spoon would be to make the food look nicer, yet he is scrupulous in the area, in this area, and does not use the scoop, then he will be blessed. Okay. So as we said before, right? If he is scrupulous, does not use scoop, he will be blessed. Okay. Continue. Almost done. So technically, why is it allowed? Because you don't need, like, you want to get the food out from the container. You don't care how it comes out, smooth or not smooth. Okay. Part number 5, practical applications. Icing a cake. I'm not sure why they don't have to do it on Shabbos. That's the issue. It is best not to spread icing on a cake, since this would fall into the category of smoothing and decorating purposes. However, if one's intention is not to give the icing or cream a smooth appearance, but just to spread the flavor throughout the top of the cake, one may do so on Shabbos. So just without make it even, without it look nice, just to cover the surface, as we said, no problem. B, smoothing but try like a personal thing, just a little more, like few more strokes, and it would look much nicer. So in these more strokes, it's going to be going to fall under the prohibition. B, smoothing egg salad, tuna salad, chopped liver, or mashed potato. If one intention is to make the food look more presentable, it is best to refrain from smoothing the items directly on Shabbos. Right, so basically, you want to put in the bowl to put it on the table. That's the issue. So be careful not to smooth. Shabbos, whether by hand or with utensils, it does not matter. Right? However, it's how you smooth it. However, as mentioned above, if one uses the scoop to dish out these foods with a scoop, and the smoothing is merely attained incidentally from the shape of the scoop, and generally do not done with a specific intention to smooth the foods, right? So I mean, with the scoop, that's how the scoop works. It's not like I'm doing anything like intentionally. Okay, so there is no problem. But as Rama said, you want a blessing, I think it's easy blessing. I think. Okay, C. I mean, it was an easy blessing. Don't use this scoop. C, spreading butter, jelly, or other such spreads. One is permitted to spread butter, jelly, ice, cheese, cream cheese, or any other foods on bread, provided that one's purpose is simply to cover the bread, not to smooth out the the spread over the surface. But that's usually the case. Okay, I guess we can stop here. So finish this chapter, and next one is big one is coloring. Maybe it's not so big. Okay. All right, so let's stop here. So tomorrow we're going to learn Kitzo. Beezrat HaShem. Thank you very much and good night.